गोपीजनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपीजनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रजजनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रजजनरंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रजजनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रजजनरंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा वृंदावन चंद राधा वृंदावन चंद राधा वृंदावन चंद राधे जयो जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रमाई जय सुदर्शनाय जय गौरनिताय 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 श्री श्री गौरनिताय श्रीनिवास गोविंद श्री वेंकटरमण गोविंदाय श्रीनिवास गोविंद श्री वेंकटरमण गोविंदाय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा श्रील प्रभुपदा श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तनम की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंद। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतः पदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। Hare Krishna. So we are reading today from Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, 9th chapter, appearance of the demon Vritrasur, text number 40. So it's in prose order, we can't recite it in a nice meter. So let's try to, I'll recite and then we'll do word to word. त्रिभुवनात्म भवन त्रिविक्रम त्रिनयन त्रिलोक मनोहरानुभाव तवैव विभूतयो दितिज दनुजादयश्चापि तेषाम् उपक्रमसमयो यम् इति स्वात्ममायया सुरनरमृगमिश्रित जलचराकृतिभिः यथा पराधं दण्डं दण्डधर तदर्थ एवं एनम् अपि भगवन् जहि त्वाष्ट्रम् उत यदि मन्यसे। Word to word translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Word to word meaning: Tribhuvana Atma Bhavana. O Lord, you are the shelter of the three worlds because you are the super soul of the three worlds. Trivikrama, O Lord, who assumes the form of Vamana, your power and opulence are distributed throughout the three worlds. Trinayana, O maintainer and seer of the three worlds. Triloka Manohara Anubhava, O you who are perceived as the most beautiful within the three worlds. Tava, of you. Eva, certainly. Vibhutaya, the expansions of energy. Ditija, Danuja, Adayaha, the demonic sons of Diti and the demonic sons of Diti and the Danavas, another type of demon. Cha, and Api, also the human beings. Tesham, of all of them. Upakrama Samayaha, the time of enterprise. Ayam, this. Iti, thus. Swa Atma Mayaya, by your own energy. Sura Nara Mrigam Mishrita, Jalachara Akritibihi, with different forms like those of the demigods, human beings, animals, mixture, and aquatics. The incarnations, Vamana, Lord Ramachandra, Krishna, Varaha, Hayagriva, Narsimha, Matsya, and Kurma. Yatha aparadham, according to their offenses. Dandam, punishment. Dandadhara, O supreme chastiser. Dadartaha, you awarded. Evam, thus. Enam, this one. Vritrasura. Api, also. Bhagavan, O supreme personality of Godhead. Jahi, kill. Twashtram, the son of Twashta. Uta, indeed. Yadi manyase, if you think it proper. Translation. O Lord, O personified three worlds, Father of the three worlds, O strength of the three worlds, in the form of the Vamana incarnation, O three-eyed form of Narsingadev, O most beautiful person within the three worlds, everything and everyone, including human beings and even the Daitya, demons and the Danavas, is but an expansion of your energy. O supremely powerful one, you have always appeared in your forms as the various incarnations to punish the demons as soon as they become very powerful. You appear as Lord Vamandev, Lord Rama and Lord Krishna. You appear sometimes as an animal like Lord Boar, sometimes a mixed incarnation like Lord Narsingadev and Lord Hayagriva, and sometimes an aquatic like Lord Fish and Lord Tortoise. Assuming such various forms, you have always punished the demons and Danavas. We therefore pray that your Lordship appear today as another incarnation, if you so desire, to kill the great demon Vritrasura. Purport. There are two kinds of devotees known as Sakama and Akama. Pure devotees are Akama, whereas devotees in the upper planetary system, such as the demigods, are called Sakama, because they still want to enjoy material opulence. Because of their pious activities, the Sakama devotees are promoted to the higher planetary systems, but at heart, they still desire to lord it over the material resources. The Sakama devotees are sometimes disturbed by the demons and Rakshasas, but the Lord is so kind that He always saves them by appearing as an incarnation. The Lord's incarnation is so powerful that Lord Vamandev covered the entire universe with 2 steps and therefore had no place for his 3rd step. The Lord is called Trivikrama because He showed His strength by delivering the entire universe with merely 3 steps. The difference between Sakama and Akama devotees is that when Sakama devotees, like the demigods, fall into difficulty, they approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead for relief, whereas A karma devotees, even in the greatest danger, never disturb the Lord for material benefits. Even if an akama devotee is suffering, he thinks this is due to his past impious activities and agrees to suffer the consequences. He never disturbs the Lord. Sakama devotees immediately pray to the Lord as soon as they are in difficulty, but they are regarded as pious because they consider themselves fully dependent on the mercy of the Lord. As stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam 10:48, Tattenukampam susamikshmano Bunjana evatmakritam vipakam Ritvakvapurvi vidadan namaste Jivetayo muktipade sadaya bhak. Even while suffering in the midst of the difficulties, devotees simply offer their prayers and service more enthusiastically. In this way, they become firmly fixed in devotional service and eligible to return home back to Godhead without a doubt. Sakama devotees, of course, achieve from the Lord the results they desire from their prayers, but they do not immediately become fit to return to Godhead. It is to be noted herein that Lord Vishnu, in his various incarnations, is always the protector of his devotees. Srila Madhvacharya says, Vividam bhava patratvat sarve Vishnu vibhutaya. Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, Krishna Stu Bhagavan Swayam. All the other incarnations proceed from Lord Vishnu. Okay. Hare Krishna, I seek the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas online, offline, to speak something in line with this purport of Srila Prabhupada and for the pleasure of all the Vaishnavas and the deities, and also for my own purification. It's a very exalted subject matter. Srimad Bhagavatam is Amal Puran, without a blemish, without any tinge of jnana karma avritam. It is simply extolling the glories of pure devotion service. And it brings out some pastimes where, many pastimes where the mixed devotion service also is brought out to just help us appreciate what is the contrast between them and how to rise above mixed devotion service to pure devotion service. Here we are having Lord Indra and the demigods praying for some things, and the context, of course, in all the previous classes, every time there was a long discussion on the context, but still, to put it in brief, first Indra offended Brihaspati by not properly respecting, then they lost all the opulences, the demons took over, they went to Brahmaji, Brahmaji said, go to Vishwarup and do this yajna, and by that you will get Narayana Kavach. They got back power, but they killed Vishwarup because he was a little partial towards he was equally, rather I should say, he was also concerned to care for the demons, so he gave some oblations for them. And then Indra became troubled by that, and he did not hear the good wisdom of Brahmaji at that time, or he became impulsive to act in cutting the head of Vishwarup. So again they get troubled. Tvashta releases a person, Vritrasura, by Yagna, who is supposed to kill Indra, but actually the pronunciation goes wrong and he is going to be killed by Indra. But Indra considers Vritrasura as his enemy, and now they are with Lord Vishnu, offering many wonderful prayers, and at the end now they have finally released their desire. Do this please, kill him. First they offer very wonderful prayers. Just the previous prayer, as our Madhun Sundar Prabhu was bringing out, it is full of nectar of pure devotion service. And suddenly from there they just turn into the Sakama stuff comes out. So it's quite amazing. When we see this outside world people, when they sing this kind of songs, like they say, Tan mandan sab tera kya lage mera, and then Sukh sampati ghar aave kashta mite tan ka. Just 2 lines ahead they are just changing the stand, and bhakta jano ke sankat kshan mein dur kar rahe. So from the complete kya lage mera and all that, they just come back to their own idea what they basically want from the Lord. so of course here Indra and demigods are very exalted, and Um, I'm only a conditioned soul, myself being swayed by the waves of material nature. And it is not my adhikar to speak anything. It's only because I'm hanging from the lotus feet of Vaishnavas that I can speak something on pure devotion service. Jai Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra Shri Shri Jagannath Baldev Sadhar Gaur Nitai Ki Jai. So we often share about mixed devotion service and pure devotion service, the exalted nature, and we may even criticize the nature of mixed devotion service and may laugh also. But at the same time, I seek the blessings of Vaishnavas that I can rise above my own shortcomings in rising from these lower tendencies. So, of course, the pastime goes ahead where Vritrasur is fighting and then he gives fate to Indra that please use the thunderbolt made by Dadichi. Of course, in between Dadichi also comes. Yeah, Dadichi's bones they take. So actually Lord Vishnu gives him a lot of opportunities to associate with pure devotees, First he gives him chastisement here only. Now a chastisement will come where he will clearly say, you are fool, After doing such wonderful prayers in knowledge, you are asking such nonsense. So very clearly he says that. And he says that Vritrasur is not envious of you, you are only envious of him. So he is Mat Paran, he is, in the last verse he will say. So he is not going to trouble you, you are going to trouble him, So he is very clear, and later he tells, he is telling in this only instruction that you can go to Dadichi still if you want. So Dadichi, he goes to, there also a nice discourse happens, where if they are little shameful, they would have understood, what am I doing, how pathetic situation is. But still, they went ahead. Further, when Vritrasur is to be killed, Vritrasur's pure devotion service prayers and Vritrasur's way of telling that you kill me, Baba, I want to go back to Godhead, kill me. So very clearly how someone can get doubt, what am I hankering for in this world, Like that Shiva Bhakta got association of Sanatana Goswami and then he got transformed. He said, Kuch to garbad hai, He has put the parasmani in kachre ka dabba. So it seems like I'm hankering for something which is worth nothing or worth being a garbage rather. So, worth nothing means if something is like, zero, but put in garbage means bad, you put it in garbage. So I'm asking for garbage, what am I hankering for? So he developed a sense of detachment from that and he threw the parasmani and wanted the holy name. He had not got the bliss of the holy name, before that he had to first throw. So he developed faith in Sanatana Goswami. So here Indra is getting a lot of opportunities. Lord is gifting him personal instructions, after that he is gifting him Dadichi's association, then Vritrasur's association, but I will be like this. So once His Holiness Bhakti Ashray Vaishnava Maharaj was saying that if there is a liquor bottle, someone wants to clean it, you put it for 1,000 years in the Yamuna water also, still it will smell if you don't open the cork to let the water go in. So even amongst the pure devotees, if someone stays, but to the degree the heart is submissive, open to learn and get reformed, to that degree only one can get reformed. There is a duty from the master, bona fide guru, and the bona fide disciple has to be tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevya. There is a genuine association of pure devotees, then only the person can actually take the benefit. Even with the Lord, it took a long time for Durvasa also with the Lord. Lord had to help him clearly set his position before Ambrish. Then he understood what's actually the real value. So here, if you see later on, they will be more and more clear. They are saying, we are all surrendered souls to you, our minds are bound to your lotus feet. Many prayers are coming like that. And they will further say that you know everything, you are the complete whole, you know everything. So they say many things, only, you are all powerful, everything, but they don't say, you know what is best for us. They don't say this part. That also they know, but they don't say that point. So they say what? You know what is our desire, so now please do it, You know very well why we have taken shelter at your lotus feet, which provides shade that gives relief from all material disturbance. So they are quoting right thing only, that it gives relief from all material suffering. But problem is, if you see, they quoted in this verse which we just read, which we are discussing today's verse. So in that they quoted, Narsingadev, the three-eyed form. So they saw Narsingadev and he came to kill the, Hiranyakashipu to save Prahlad. But they didn't see Prahlad, But Prahlad was not asking anything from Narsingadev even before he appeared. And after he appeared also, he didn't ask anything. In fact, he told the Lord, why are you asking such benediction kind of stuff? Don't give me any benediction thing. I want to be pure devotee. Don't ask me for this kind of, don't give me allurements. I will be tempted. I'm not a vanik. I'm not a businessman. And if you want to fulfill any desire, then remove all the desire. Yadi dasya se tu me kaman varam samvar darshava kamanam hridya samroham. So he's not saying that. The demigod is quoting only Narsingadev is coming to kill Hiranyakashipu. And he quotes about Vamandev. Vamandev, oh, you came, you killed Bali. So basically, you finish all the demons and you help us. But you didn't see Bali Maharaj. Bali Maharaj also surrendered that he was ready to be, giving his third step on the head also, everything, giving his life. So they're kind of selective what they want to see in the whole pastime. If they see the total pastime, then they can see what Bali did. They were relieved from material disturbance not because Lord appeared. They were relieved because they were in their pure mood of bhakti. Because of that, they are beyond the material tribulations. Lord does not do anything actually except reciprocate with that pure devotee. But they on their own have relieved themselves because they have put no condition to the Lord. When Aghasur comes, so all these devotees are going inside the mouth of Aghasur and they are not so fearful. And this mouth also closes, they are not fearful. And the demigods are, alas, what will happen, Because there is material expectation now. If Krishna is killed, then so Krishna be killed. Can Krishna be killed? They don't have faith. So there is some troubles in their faith. So they get troubled because they have material expectations. So they clearly say here, therefore, O Lord, O Supreme Controller, please annihilate this dangerous demon, Vritrasura. So Lord is very angry with them actually here now. He says, you want me to commit violence to others, which I now put my compilation. Okay. So, okay. Yeah. So the overall discussion which we'll do is something about Sakama versus Akama. So here he says, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in 6.944 says, sometimes the Lord awards bhakti. This is the demigods clarifying why they are telling all this clearly. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains it through his purport. Sometimes the Lord awards bhakti because to the excellent portrayal of pure bhakti in the verses of praise. That means till now they offered prayers which are quite pure devotion service oriented. So Lord may award bhakti only. So what will happen? If that happens to us, trembling with tears of prema, we will wander about the earth indifferent to the happiness of Swarga. So then we will become oblivious to Swarga. So our enemies will then enter the Amravati. Fearing this, these devatas clearly express, ऐसा नहीं चाहिए हमको, हमारे को प्रेम नहीं चाहिए. Please give us that Amravati only. Go. That is why they are telling very clearly. देखो, अपने को प्रेम मत देना, देखो. प्रेम दे दिया तो हम दीवाने हो जाएंगे आपके, हम चले जाएंगे. As in Jagannath Puri one time I had gone, they put a beautiful quote, at the Lord's lotus feet, we get everything and we forget everything. So we get everything, we don't look for anything more. And we forget everything, we don't need anything. Actually, we don't want anything more. So here is, they are fearful, Bapre, sab bhul jayenge hum swarg ka, no, itna bhi. That is why sometimes people don't want to worship Krishna. Because, there you become fakir. So they want something in this world, so they want to keep that intact. So they go to Lord Shiva and Durga and all who are more on the, they can take care of that in that way only. But Lord first purifies, then gives. So that's why they handle it this way. So there are Sakama Bhaktas, and a couple of days back Shiva Sachandrapur shared nicely about the 4 types of people, Artha, Artharthi, Jigyasu, and Jnani. In that he was sharing about the Jnani who is actually Nitya Yukta. Tesham Jnani Nitya Yukta Eka Bhaktir Vishachyate. So they are engaged in devotional service. That's why they are dear to the Lord. So I will primarily, actually there are a couple of very beautiful purports of Srila Prabhupada from different parts of Bhagavatam. So I will try to share those purports with certain important emphasis from those purports. And because if we read Prabhupada, then it will be better. Let our consciousness get purified by the transcendental words coming from the lotus mouth of Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada writes in 1.8.29 that Lord is equally distributed. He is not partial, but He is undoubtedly known as partial to His pure devotees, but in fact He is never partial, as the sun. So Prabhupada writes there, foolish people think that devotion service is flattering the Lord to get special mercy. Actually, the pure devotees who are engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord are not a mercantile community. A mercantile house renders service to someone in exchange for something valuable. The pure devotee does not render service unto the Lord for such exchange, and therefore the full mercy of the Lord is open for him. So, he does not want anything material, and the Lord gives full mercy. Suffering men, needy men, inquisitive and philosophers make temporary connection with the Lord to serve a particular purpose. When the purpose is served, there is no more relation with the Lord. A suffering man is, if he is pious at all, prays to the Lord for his recovery. So they have a temporary, purpose-driven idea. So the mercy of the Lord is open for him, but he is reluctant to receive it. That is the difference between a pure devotee and a mixed devotee. And then Prabhupada brings out three types of people. One is a pure devotee, then a partial recipient who gets because of mixed devotion. And he also tells about another class, which is those who are completely against the service of the Lord. They are in abject darkness. So, such partiality in receiving the Lord's mercy is relative to the recipient, and it is not due to the partiality of the all-merciful Lord. So I had quite a number of years back read this one purport, which really gave me a lot of joy. So we'll recite this shloka also, and then we'll try to discuss on this important one also. Nati prasidati tato Nati prasidati tato pachito pacharai Aradita suraganai hridi baddha kamai Jat sarva bhuta dayaya sad alabhyaiko Nana janeshva avahita suridantaratma. So this is creative energy prayers by Brahmaji. My Lord, you are not very much satisfied when you are worshipped by the demigods. And that's what today also we are seeing the discussion. Who arrange for your worship very pompously with various paraphernalia, but who are full of material hankerings. As the super soul, you are situated in the heart of all living beings just to show them your causeless mercy. And you are their eternal well-wisher, but you are unavailable for the non-devotee. So two parts he is saying. One is demigods, another is non-devotees. Mixed devotee, non-devotee. Both, one is not satisfying the Lord because of material hankering, and the other person is, Lord is not available to him, although he is there in the heart, like that. So Prabhupada gives a beautiful purport. The demigods in the celestial heavenly planets are appointed administrators of the material affairs, are also devotees of the Lord, but at the same time they have desires for material opulence and sense gratification. The Lord is so kind that He awards them all sorts of material happiness, more than they can desire, but He is not satisfied with them because they are not pure devotees. And now He tells a beautiful understanding why He is not satisfied with them. It is not like, they are not rendering service to me, so I am not happy, mere ko seva karo. He is not selfish at all. See what he says. The Lord does not want any one of his innumerable sons, the living entities, to remain in the material world of threefold miseries, to perpetually suffer the material pangs of birth, death, old age and disease. The demigods in the heavenly planets and many devotees on this planet also want to remain in the material world as devotees of the Lord and take advantage of material happiness. Prabhupada very clearly brings out two. One is heavenly demigods, another devotees on this planet also. They do at the risk of falling down to the lower status of existence, and this makes the Lord dissatisfied with them. I want to bring you to my Leela, I'm playing the flute to call, but they are coming and praying for their own Leela only. Not Leela, material world life. Pure devotees are not desirous of any material enjoyment, nor are they averse to it. No desire, no averse. They completely dovetail their desires with the desires of the Lord and perform nothing on their personal account. Arjun is a good example. On his own sentiment, due to family affection, Arjun did not want to fight, but finally, after hearing Srimad Bhagavad Gita, he agreed to fight in the interest of the Lord. Therefore, the Lord is very much satisfied with pure devotees because they do not act for sense gratification, but only in terms of the Lord's desire. So, this is the foundational difference. They Atmendriya priti vancha tare bale kam Krishnendra pichi ichha dhare prema naam. So they may have personal feelings also, like here Arjuna had feelings for all the, especially Bhishma Pitama and Dronacharya, and of course for all others also. Still he could rise above that to fix himself on the instruction of the Lord for the pleasure of the Lord. He is acting for the pleasure of the Lord. So this is pure devotional service. Even when the mind and senses may say something otherwise, the pure devotee always acts for the pleasure of the Lord, So it is natural to have affection for one's near and dear ones, but then he did not act in that direction. So in one sense, he was also getting a sankat. He will be finished, Arjuna, but he did not at all worry about that. Rather, he was non-violent towards his so-called enemies also. And he was wanting to be non-violent, but Lord wanted him to be violent, so okay, I will be violent. And here, Lord wants Indra to be non-violent towards his so-called enemy. Actually, he's, in that last verse it will come that Vitrasur is not the enemy, he is the enemy. Indra is seeing him as the enemy. He says, Mat Paran, they are my devotees, they will not harm you, but you will harm, you will do something. So you do whatever you want to do. The Kama devotees are self-interested because they do not think of others, and therefore they are not able to satisfy the Lord perfectly. Whereas the pure devotees take the missionary responsibilities of turning non-devotees into devotees, and they are therefore able to satisfy the Lord more than the demigods. So now two things. One is that actually a mixed devotee is self-serving only, but a pure devotee not only has no material desire, but he also satisfies Lord's desire. He has one anxiety to bring everyone, so he takes care of Lord's desire also. Like it said, Govinda, what is that? Vishram. Tumhara hridaya sada Govinda Vishram. So Govinda is doing Vishram in the heart of a pure devotee. Why? Because he has one anxiety to deliver all the conditioned soul. But that anxiety also the pure devotee removes. And all other fellows are giving lot of desire. Ye bhi kar do mere liye, wo. So Lord has to, I can't deliver him, and he is giving me more, job to do in this world only, So he is always in tension, Of course, he is transcendental, but the point is, the Lord is unmindful to the non-devotees, although he is sitting within everyone's heart as well-wisher and super soul. Unmindful. However, he also gives them chance to receive his mercy through his pure devotees who are engaged in missionary activities. So the pure devotees act as Lord's agent to serve these non-devotees who otherwise will never get. But then he says something very powerful here, which is, I just, that is clean bold. And the Lord is so satisfied with his pure devotees that he wants to give them the credit for missionary success, although he could do the work personally. This is the sign of satisfaction with his pure Nishkama devotees compared to the Sakama devotees. That means, if a devotee actually becomes Nishkama, he becomes pure in his heart, then the Lord will give him his mission actually. So to the degree we become pure in our hearts, to that degree we can take ahead Srila Prabhupada's mission. It's a mission of pure devotion service. It cannot be handled managerially. Management is a byproduct of pure devotion service. But main component is pure devotional heart, which is hankering to please Guru and Krishna. And when that is pure, Like Prabhupada had complete pure desire to please Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Lord. So then he becomes an instrument of the Lord. Nachao, nachao, Prabhu, nachao se mate. Kashtera putli. Make me a putli. So it is very beautiful that how, if you see Lakshmana, when he was murchit apparently, so Ravan came, he could not lift him. But when Hanumanji came, he just lifted. So to lift the Guru, lift the message of the Lord is not a task of a person who is with material desire. It is lifted by a person who has pure devotion service in his heart. So that is why our mission is actually going, because in every generation we are getting pure devotees in the movement. And they are taking this movement. They are creating faith in pure devotion service for the people. So we are eternally indebted to this, the shelter of the pure devotees who are like taking the movement ahead, because without, Prabhupada said, if Prabhupada, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, everyone said, if I can create one pure devotee, Of course, that does not mean now you stop preaching and you just do. Of course, you can do a little more in Purushottam Mass, that's wonderful, but look, we can do, I should do. But I am sharing that it's not like we should just do bhajan. Our preaching is also part of our seva to Srila Prabhupada. As we preach, we also get purified. We don't do it as some kind of a deliverer or something. We just do it as a beggar to serve Prabhupada. So I very much appreciate, I was touched by this statement of Prabhupada. This is the sign of his satisfaction, his pure Nishkama devotees. So, So I wanted to also bring out another important subject which is touched in the purport by Prabhupada. He says a pure devotee never disturbs the Lord. A Kama devotee never disturbs for material benefits. 2 times Prabhupada writes, he never disturbs the Lord. Here again he writes. So, demigods are in disturbance, but they should not disturb the Lord. So, recently I have been doing 2 things. One was prayers of Prahlad Maharaj, hearing Prabhupada. Another is teachings of Queen Kunti, reading book. So, something is very beautiful over there, actually repeatedly hearing. One place Prabhupada tells in Prahlad Maharaj prayers, he says the devotee does not ask for anything. He only wants service. And he says, no, he does not want. He only begs for service. How can he want? He just begs because he knows he is not qualified for anything. So I said, my God, want also, want looks good only if you are servicing, but not, if you can give me, I am grateful. Very, bhakti is so sweet and subtle, actually, sublime actually. So very nice it was. And I came across a section in this Tatha Paramahamsanam verse, Prabhupada's commentary there, which was so heart-touching that I want to share with you all on that. So in that long lecture, I have the lecture with me also. I think time is not there with me to play it, but I'll just read the section because I want to bring out some important lesson there. So this humility is very good in devotion service. She is saying, Katham Pashyema hi striya. How can we Stri approach you? Only Paramahamsas approach you. Amalatmanas approach you. Muninam approach you. So Prabhupada tells something about her humility, Queen Kunti's humility, and then he tells 4 definitions of Paramahamsa, and they are very important in context of our discussion today. So here he says, therefore, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches, Trinadapi suni chena tarorapi saishuna. One should be more tolerant than the tree and humbler than the grass to make progress in spiritual life. This is necessary because for one who is living in the material world, there will be so many disturbances, just as if one were traveling on the ocean. One cannot expect a very peaceful situation on the ocean. Even a big ship may also be unsteady, and at any moment there may be tumultuous waves. Similarly, in this material world, we should always expect danger. One cannot expect a very peaceful life within this material world. Recently, I was discussing with one, Himanshu Prabhu is there from Maritime Engineering. So he goes on the ship for that. So he was telling that actually sometimes the ship, the generator goes off, Now, if the generator goes off, see the ship has an engine and there is a balancing also going on, so as to balance against the waves which are, Otherwise, if you think of the ocean versus the ship, it's like a toy, you know. Oh, sorry. Yeah. It's like a small thing in the whole, it can just topple. So I asked, so then what do you do? Yeah, so he said, we have a lot of backups, we have a second generator, we have a lot of backups, otherwise it's like you can't do anything, you are in the ship. Like earthquake when it comes, you can't run anywhere because earth is only shaking, So where to run to, You can only run outside a roof, so that you don't get roof above your head, So earthquake is like that. Similarly, imagine you are in the ship and the ship is in the ocean and the ocean is only turbulent. So what will you change? You cannot change anything. You jump also, you will land on the ship only, Nothing you can do. So it's so precarious a situation. So he said that sometimes in such a situation a ship can completely topple also. Wave can topple the ship actually completely. He was using some technical word also for that. So it's always danger. So in the material world, when we are staying, we should not expect that it will be not dangerous. Prabhupada says danger must be there because you entered a dangerous world, Padam padam yat vipadam natesham, So then Prabhupada tells in the next para is so heavy. I just read 5-10 times actually. If one takes to Krishna consciousness, in the beginning there will be many disturbances caused by Maya, the material energy of illusion. Maya will test us to see how firmly we are fixed in Krishna consciousness. Because she is also an agent of Krishna, she does not allow anyone the freedom to disturb Krishna. That means if we have material desire and we want to enter the spiritual world, we will create trouble for Krishna. Today morning, Sundar Shampu was reading from the book where second canto was being quoted, where Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, he is no one's order supplier. So the holy name should not be used for any material purpose. So we cannot disturb Krishna. So Maya will not allow us to enter his realm because that will cause disturbance. So here she is saying that she will test us by showing disturbances. So disturbance are two types, temptations and tribulations. Here they have both the situations. Indra has the temptation of Swargaloka and tribulation is that it is getting lost from him. The Vritrasur is going to do something and all that. So in both these disturbances, how the devotee remains fixed is very important. Therefore, she tests very rigidly to see whether we have taken to Krishna consciousness to disturb Krishna or are actually serious. That means Prabhupada is talking to Krishna consciousness devotees only. Devotees of ISKCON movement he is talking. He is giving lecture to devotees here and he is telling that she tests very rigidly to see whether we have taken to Krishna consciousness to disturb Krishna. That means, sometimes devotees also say, Prabhuji, I came to Krishna consciousness, but why am I not getting placement also? Outside other people are getting, I am not getting a placement. What is this? How Krishna is doing this with me? So Krishna has never promised a placement in this matter world. Krishna is telling, I will give you training here and placement in the spiritual world. That is the promise. He is never giving training here for placement in this matter world. That you can do yourself, So people say, Prabhuji, why is my health suffering? Sadi sati laga hai kya? People have such wrong conception like you're chanting holy name, where is Sadi sati? There may be a pattern. Recently, Sonis Baru Maharaj was saying that there may be a pattern, but we should know we are fully with Krishna now. Krishna is taking care of our lives. So Krishna will do whatever he wants to do to purify us. And are we ready for it? That is the question. So there can be many disturbances. Health shatter, or someone's family situations can go wrong. Someone's ashrams may change. Someone's superiors may get lost from Krishna consciousness, or they may, may not be able to remain, in the same temple, or they may go away. They may not get the shelter of the superior. So many things can happen in life. Life is changing because this matter world is a changing world. So if people conceive of matter world to be like a static place where everything should go just peaceful, then that means they're wrong. They want to settle down in this matter world. Actually, more it changes, we just move on. That's life for. Like, suppose now I'm taking shelter of this chair. If this is not stable, but I am taking shelter of it, then I will fall as it falls. But if I am not taking shelter, this falls away, I will remain stable. So when people take shelter of fallible things in this world, then they shake when that shakes. So if our faith shakes, that means we have taken shelter of something wrong. And we are being shaken so that we take shelter of the real. And that is only Krishna. There is nothing in this world which is certain. One thing is certain is everything is uncertain. So if we can understand that and understand that everything will, sab kuch ho jayega, whatever has to change. Right now many great souls are on the planet. Prabhupada writes in a purport that when great souls leave, there will be disorder in the society. So we have to be ready, and we have to be ready to see how I should live by the shelter of their Vani in all moments. So every situation, whatever we conceive of as stable in this world, has to change. If it is not changing, it's okay. But if it changes and we shake, that means it was Krishna's plan so that we can take real shelter. So here he says, she tests very rigidly to see whether we have taken to Krishna consciousness to disturb Krishna or are actually serious. That is Maya's business. So in the beginning, there will be tests by Maya, and we shall feel so many disturbances while making progress in Krishna consciousness. But, and then Prabhupada gives a solution. He's not going to just leave us with some pain point. But if we follow the rules and regulations and chant regularly as prescribed, then we shall remain steady. If we neglect these principles, Maya will capture us immediately. Maya is always ready. We are in the ocean and at any moment we may be disturbed. Therefore, one who is not disturbed at all is called a Paramahamsa. So first definition Prabhupada says is one who is not disturbed through this disturbing ocean is a Paramahamsa. And what is the way to get to that stage is you regularly take care of the rules and regulations and chant regularly. Beautiful song, we don't have the time to sing that one, but Prabhu Tava Pada Yoga, in that he says, Vipade sampade taha thakuka samabhave, dine dine vriddhi hoka namera prabhave. To the degree we have taken shelter of the pure chanting of the holy name, all the problems of life can be removed. Vipade and sampade, we will be same. I was hearing His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj once in Delhi. He was speaking on Ajamil section and he said, whatever devotees were asking question, he would come to chanting of holy name only. So he said, the root cause of all your problems is inattentive chanting. Root solution to all the problems of life is attentive chanting. तो मतलब कि बस चैंटिंग ठीक से करो भैया, बाकी कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. So actually it was very faith giving because he is speaking from pure faith. So it was helping. So this is the first one, that we take shelter of the process very properly. And the process is very important. And that will keep us stable against the disturbances. Instead of taking shelter of the fallible soldiers of this world, instead of demanding Lord to stabilize this material world, let us not disturb Krishna, but rather take shelter of Krishna on the unalloyed platform of transcendence. The next one he says Paramahamsa. Hamsa means a swan which can make milk and water separate. So it takes on the milk. So Prabhupada says, similarly this material world is made of two natures, the inferior nature and the superior nature. The superior nature means spiritual life and the inferior nature means material life. Thus a person who gives up material part of this world and takes only the spiritual part is called a Paramahamsa. Powerful thing actually. A person who gives up the material part of this world and takes only the spiritual part is called a Paramahamsa. So that means seeing only the soul component, not seeing the bodily component. Sometimes material and spiritual can have various definitions. Something which is temporary is material, which is eternal is spiritual. So if we take two eternal things as the shelter and not the temporary, then we'll be safe. And another is what is connected to Krishna. See everything in connection to Krishna, that is spiritual. And what is disconnected from Krishna, that is material. Of course, there is nothing disconnected to Krishna, but to see disconnection with Krishna is material. So when we don't see in connection with Krishna, that is actually material. Another is that, like say, if we see relationships, in relationships sometimes we see the Swabhava side and we get disturbed. But if we see the devotee is practicing Krishna consciousness, then we should go ahead. Sometimes we may be disturbed by changes of situation. But if we are taking eternal shelter is going on, at least I am getting my Panchanga Bhakti going on, don't worry about the changes. So like that, don't worry about the material part, take care of the spiritual part. And that is why Prabhupada could remain happy with all the change, the people falling down, people this, that, whatever is happening. Prabhupada was in bliss of preaching Krishna consciousness, and I see that in the next generation great souls also. They remain blissful through all the difficulties also, because they are having pure faith in the spiritual thing. They know holy name will work. And the other next one is, one should know that the activities of body are due to the soul within the body. That is the real fact. The body is only the outward covering. Similarly, one should know Krishna is the real center of all activities, and one who knows this is a Paramahamsa. Third definition of Paramahamsa. To know that the body acting is based on soul, and the soul is actually supposed to have Krishna in the center. So to keep Krishna as the real center of our lives. Recently His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj in the Brahmotsavam of Chopati, he was sharing on this. What does it really mean to keep Krishna in the center? So he said in the beginning it may mean that we simply do activities in devotional service. But as we become more refined, we should know that we should never act out of our selfish egoistic desire, but to always decide things based on what will give Krishna pleasure. What is going to give Krishna pleasure? So more we keep Krishna in the center, then we'll be not shaken in this world. And here Indra and all the people, they are shaken because they are having selfish center. So one who knows not only theoretically but practically that Krishna is the cause of all causes, one who is convinced of this is a Paramahamsa. Fourth definition. So when we see, say, something is happening in one's life, like Vritrasura was earlier Chitraketu cursed by Parvati Maya. So he was not disturbed because Krishna is the cause of all causes. He is doing something for me. So when we see the immediate causes and get troubled that why this person or this situation this way is happening, is there anyone who will solve this problem? That means we are not seeing Krishna as the person with me who is doing everything, and then we get shaken because we think that something beyond Krishna is operating and trying to deal with my life. But when one is not theoretically but practically convinced that Krishna is the cause of all causes, so one can remain happy in the shelter of Krishna beyond everything. Like Prahlad was happy, Hiranyakashipu may do whatever nonsense, but he is seeing Krishna, he is happy with Krishna. So this way, as we associate with the pure devotees, as we associate with pure devotional service, prayers, as we associate with Prabhupada, we can remain above these dualities. We can try to look for only pure devotional service. So with this I would like to close. So mixed devotional service is not surely anyway going to satisfy us or the Lord. And pure devotional service, these characteristics which we saw, how we can rise to gradually that. So that's what I tried to discuss today. With this I close here. I think time is up, 9:10. I was told 9 o'clock I should close, in 10 minutes for questions, but short of time. Sorry. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.